This video is for Ellen Lucas. One thing that I'm not good with math. Math was not my forte in school either. So one of the things I did, and you know, if you're working and you have a problem with math, this is something I made. This is a cheat sheet, okay? Because I'm using the calculator in the phone, and the calculator most of the time will give me the decimal equivalent of a measurement. Like so, I started at 0.5. Okay, 1/2 equals 0.5. Okay, you divide that in 2. 1/4 equals 0.25. Write that down. Okay, divide that in 2. 1/8 equals 1.25. Okay, and I can divide that in 2, and that gives me 16th, 32nd. Okay, now write all that stuff down. I get all the way up to an inch. Well, an inch is 0.1. Okay, or one point. Okay, so this was very helpful for my math question. Now, okay, to draw, let's say, a 5-point star, and this is very simple. You need a compass. This is a very simple compass. Okay, you don't have to get an entire drafting set. I mean, let's not go nuts. So we're going to start with a 4-inch circle. Okay, and you check your, let's say a 4-inch circle, half a 4-inch circle is 2 inches. Okay, so we'll do this. Okay, so 4-inch circle with a compass. Okay, and you mark your center point because you're going to need that later. Okay, so here we go with the calculator. Okay, now how do you find it? You have to take the circumference, and how do you find the circumference of a circle? Well, this is a 4-inch circle, so it's 4 times pi, which is 3.14, equals 12.56. Now divide it by 5. Divided by 5 equals 2.512. 2.512. Okay, so what I did was, whoop, damn it. Where the hell did I put that? I took a piece of solder. Now I had something that was almost 4 inches. Okay, roll of masking tape. It was almost 4-inch diameter, and I bent it around. I measured 2.5, cut it off, right? Bent it around that, and this is what I did. Okay, at least for me, because I have a hard time with math also. Okay, make a mark, make a mark. Move it around, right? Get it on the outside. Make another mark. Right? Move it around on the outside. Make another mark. Move it around on the outside. Make another mark. And check. See? So that's pretty much right. Okay, now that's pretty much right. After you get that, then you connect your dots. Because this is what drove me nuts. The first time I was trying to draw a star. I was starting from a right angle, and it ran me crazy. And I was working on this, trying to get this worked out, and a guy came in the studio, and he was a geometry teacher. He says, "You're going about that all wrong." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, "This is what you do. You start off with a circle. That's what you do. You start off with a circle." And he gave me that formula. See, connect the dots. Okay, make sure I'm still in frame. That's what I put that blue tape on the table so I could try to stay in frame. Now, there's a 5-point star with the hexagon in the middle. Now, what you can do is, here's my center point. Rotate around. Okay. That's my center point. See? Okay. You follow so far? Okay. And you have to do this. Is called research and development. You know, if you're making panel shades or something, for God's sakes, make a model of it. Check your measurements before you go cut any glass out. Make sure everything works. But with a 5-point star, it's kind of the same thing. Work it out. Okay, that's my center point. That's my ruler. Okay, So these I don't want. These I don't want. These I don't want. And these I don't want. So there's my 5-point star. Okay, that's how it works out. Okay, now for myself, because I cut a lot of stars. Okay, because I cut a lot of stars. This is something else that I did. Get this off. After everything else, you know, the first 20 or 30 stars I made, I used this as a pattern. I cut one of those out, and I cut one, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one. And then what I wound up doing was I drew it out like this. Okay, I drew it out like this on paper. Okay, and I moved it in a little bit because sometimes when you're putting things like this next to each other, the points have a tendency to break off. So, but I had to lay it out like this. Okay, and then I have another jig that I made after I have these, which are my blanks. And I made this to put the blank into. Okay, that to get the inside angle. Okay, but for if you're just making one or two, you know, you start with that. Okay, and you can expand it, subtract it, anyway, you know. Okay, so that's the thing with drawing and sketching. You need to have a few tools like, you know, like a triangle, and you know, and a ruler, and because I know people are, you know, you ask this question and people are throwing a triangle, cheap, good to have. Protractor, I'm not too good with, but they're good to have around also. You know, various sizes of squares. Doesn't hurt to have to try to draw things out. And you know, this is a good ruler. This is a engineer, I think. Yeah, architect actually. It had various, you know, 1 through 12, and then various fractions. Okay, that's helpful in being able to draw stuff like this out. So hopefully that helped a little bit. But that's what I had to do the first time, you know, I drew the pattern for the star before it evolved into the board that I showed you. Okay, on how I mass produce those things, because I make a lot of them. Okay, and I needed to cut down on the waste, and I needed to speed things up a little bit. So that's how to do a 5-point star.